Hi. So the subject that we wanted to talk about today, following up on the pre-marriage talks, is one that we also consider to be primordial, which is finances and lifestyle. How we choose to relate to money and therefore the kind of life that we want to lead.
Thank you for the introduction, pretty lady. So the conversation that you want to have is to get the two of you onto the same page as to what kind of life you want to have. So that really encompasses like standard of living. What kind of food you want to eat? Do you want to be able to go out once, twice, 3 times a week? If you're going to have kids, do you want them in private schools? Do you want them in good schools? Public schools can also be good schools, but I mean specifically how much money you're willing to spend on education.
Sometimes, I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off. Sometimes it's just a matter of making this clear to you, because sometimes we don't question it, right? Mm-hmm. We just make our choices and we kind of intuitively or unconsciously know what we want, but having it clear and stating it to your partner and together like figuring out what you want as a couple in the future can really ground you guys and make it come to fruition, reality.
Yeah, to finish that idea also with the public-private, it was interesting with our kids. We did, one of our kids, we went from a very good private school to a very good public school because it offered so much more than some of the privates were offering, and it wasn't even about standard of living, and it was just a better school. It was the best school that we could bring them to. But yeah, also like, what kind of car do you want? You don't have to choose this, but it's like, do you want to have lots of money? Or are you totally willing to have a pretty humble lifestyle? Or a lot of people want to have a pretty simple home, but they want to be able to travel, or they want to be able to give their kids the opportunity to go to whatever university they want, or to travel to Europe when they're 14, and so it's more,
we have...
It's like let me just finish this in. So it's like a factor of just seeing if you're on the same page as to what kind of lifestyle you want to be living together, and also what's that going to take to get to.
We have friends that have chosen to work 15 hours a day for a period of some years to make enough money to then just travel the world with their kids and just lay low. We have friends that have conflicts because they only realized that the guy wants to go surfing 3 times a week, and she's like, "What? I thought you were going to get over this by the time we were married." So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like I said before, knowing what you really want, which is totally valid. Just having compatibility and awareness on the subject.
Mm-hmm. Or be willing to even have your two the parts of your lives that are separate. So it's like, let's say someone says, okay, well, I want to go surfing every weekend, but I'm also going to take care of the kids on during the weekdays. I could take them to school, bring them back, and I'm going to be working freelance, so I could be working late at night, or I could be working in the afternoons, but I'm going to do tons of stuff with the kids. And it's this coordinating this puzzle of how do we build a life together that we're really going to enjoy and that we both want. And so that's right. Really the essence of this, and mapping that out.
Yeah, it's sort of like knowing what each of you wants in this one and precious life, and being able to make the compromises so that you both as individuals feel fulfilled, and as a couple are functional and supportive of each other.
Yeah, and you want to spend your money at the same time, more or less on the same things. Or if one of you says, you know what, I really want to spend my money on this in our first 10 years, and then you're like, well, the other person says, well, I really want to save for, whatever, our 10-year anniversary, or when the kids are gone out of the house or whatever, and you say, okay, well, we're going to build both of them at the same time. So we're going to be putting away, every month a little bit for each of these things, because both of you are valid and both of you are important, right? And so it's really just where you meet on that idea, right?
Right, yeah. We don't want you guys to like be complacent about it, you know, or like totally be improvising as you go. Like I'm just thinking about this couple that I know, that he's the one sort of like deciding how many kids they have, and he's also kind of deciding that all of a sudden he doesn't want to have an employment, but go into like this semi-improvised self-income kind of project, and she's just kind of like strolling along for the ride, even though I know she's very unfulfilled about it. So maybe like it could have worked, but it would have been much more powerful if she had actually been in agreement and informed, you know, about
like
it.
They had the conversation, you know, like I also think of couples where one of them, they fell deeply in love with their partner, and that's great, but they wanted more money, and their partner, you know, is working a job, and they're between the two of them, they're working jobs that don't give them as much money as they would like to have, especially this one partner, but they fell in love with them, and which is great. There's no problem with that, but it's good to meet up and be like, okay, well, this is what I want, and this is kind of, you know, I want this, I want to be a writer, which we know a lot about, doesn't guarantee a lot of money, or an academic, or there's a lot of positions that may or may not offer you a lot of money, but it's going to make you very fulfilled. And so one of the partners may say, this is what I want because this is what's going to make me feel good as a human being and in my life. And the other person says, okay, well, I want to be with you. And that may not give me my Mercedes to drive the kids around, or we might not be going to chalets in Switzerland, but we're going to have each other and we're going to have a really happy family.
Yeah. I'm also thinking of couples that I know, which both of them worked. Then one of them, in both the cases that I have in mind, the guy lost his job because of external factors, and she was maintaining the family for like long stretches, like months in a row. Mm-hmm. And what made them get really strong, what made them stay strong during those challenging moments was that they were like both of them fully committed to their project, and there was just like all this trust that you're not just dumping it on me, but this is just going to change, and we know what we want together. And yeah. All right, so make sure to answer these questions for yourself and then talk about them in partnership. And thank you for sharing this moment with us.
Thanks. Bye.